In the heart of 19th century London, a city alive with invention and industry, Ada Lovelace saw a future no one else imagined. Born in 1815, she was the daughter of the famous poet Lord Byron and the mathematically gifted Annabella Milbank. Her childhood was marked by both privilege and turbulence, as her parents separated soon after her birth, and Ada was raised by her mother, who encouraged her to pursue mathematics and logic to avoid the dangerous poetic tendencies of her father. Even as a child, Ada was fascinated by numbers and machines. She envisioned devices that could do more than calculate. They could create art and music, blending the precision of mathematics with the beauty of imagination. Her early sketches included designs for flying machines, showing her inventive spirit from a young age. In a society that limited women's roles, Ada's imagination soared beyond boundaries. She was tutored by some of the greatest minds of her time, including Mary Somerville, a renowned mathematician and scientist, who became Ada's mentor and friend. Ada called herself an analyst and metaphysician, blending poetry and mathematics in a way that was entirely her own. She once described her approach as poetical science, believing that imagination was essential to scientific discovery. Ada's mind bridged the arts and sciences, a rare and powerful combination. She was equally at home with abstract equations and philosophical questions, often writing about the mysterious relations between things. Her collaboration with Charles Babbage, the inventor of the difference engine and analytical engine, was legendary. While Babbage saw machines as powerful calculators, Ada saw them as something more, a new language for human creativity, capable of composing music or generating art. Her story is one of intellect, curiosity, and foresight. Ada often worked late into the night, filling her journals with ideas and algorithms, driven by a relentless desire to understand and create. Ada's poetical science connected abstract ideas to real-world possibilities. In her famous notes on the analytical engine, she wrote what is now considered the first computer program, an algorithm for calculating Bernoulli numbers. She imagined machines as partners in creativity, not just tools. Ada foresaw a world where technology and imagination would work together, a vision that was far ahead of her time. For years, her genius was overlooked, her contributions attributed to others or dismissed. But today, Ada Lovelace is recognized as a pioneer, the world's first computer programmer and a symbol of women's potential in science and technology. This is the story of Ada Lovelace, the enchantress of numbers, whose vision and intellect changed the course of history. Her journey reminds us that the greatest innovations begin with a single, daring thought, and that imagination paired with intellect can shape the future. Ada Lovelace was born in 1815, the only legitimate child of the brilliant but troubled poet Lord Byron and the highly intelligent Lady Byron, herself a gifted mathematician. Their marriage was brief and tumultuous. Just a month after Ada's birth, Lord Byron left England forever, leaving Ada to be raised solely by her mother. Lady Byron, determined to shield her daughter from what she saw as her father's dangerous poetic temperament, devoted herself to Ada's upbringing. She filled Ada's days with lessons in logic, mathematics, and science, hoping to ground her daughter's mind in reason rather than passion. While other girls of her class learned music, embroidery, or painting, Ada's childhood was marked by rigorous study, algebra, geometry, and even astronomy. Her mother hired the best tutors, including some of the era's leading mathematicians. Lady Byron, sometimes called the Princess of Parallelograms, was relentless in her pursuit of intellectual discipline for Ada. She kept detailed records of Ada's progress, and even when Ada was ill, lessons continued from her sickbed. This focus on science and mathematics was almost unheard of for women in Victorian England. Ada's world was one where curiosity in girls was often discouraged, yet her mother insisted she be different. Despite her mother's strict regimen, Ada's imagination could not be contained. She would often gaze out the window, dreaming of flight and invention, her mind wandering to places numbers alone could not reach. For Ada, mathematics was not just a set of rules, it was a creative language, a way to explore the mysteries of the universe. She once wrote that her imagination is so vivid, so boundless, that it gives wings to numbers. At just 12 years old, Ada became fascinated with the idea of flight. She designed elaborate wings, studying the anatomy of birds and bats, and even attempted to construct her own flying machine. She documented her findings in a book she called Flyology, blending scientific observation with imaginative sketches, a testament to both her analytical mind and her poetic soul. As Ada grew older, her mother introduced her to remarkable mentors, like Mary Somerville, one of the most respected scientific minds of the age. Through these connections, Ada entered a world of leading scientists and thinkers, rare for a young woman of her time. Ada's upbringing was a unique blend of her father's poetic legacy and her mother's logical training. She often wondered about the father she never knew, and sometimes found herself drawn to poetry, even as she calculated equations. This dual inheritance fueled Ada's creativity. She was prepared not just to understand the world, but to reimagine it, combining logic and imagination in ways no one had before. Ada became, in her own words, a poetical scientist, a poet of numbers, ready to change history with her unique vision. With a mind shaped by both the beauty of poetry and the rigor of mathematics, Ada Lovelace was set on a path of innovation that would leave a legacy far ahead of her time. At 17, Ada Lovelace met Charles Babbage, the brilliant inventor of the difference engine. Their meeting would spark one of the most remarkable collaborations in the history of science. While most saw Babbage's machine as a complex calculator, Ada immediately recognized its potential for far more. The two began a lively correspondence, exchanging dozens of letters filled with technical ideas, mathematical theories, and philosophical questions about the future of machines. Babbage's next invention, the analytical engine, was a revolutionary design, capable of performing any calculation given the right instructions. It was, in essence, the blueprint for the modern computer. Ada immersed herself in Babbage's notes and blueprints, becoming one of the few people who truly understood the analytical engine's complexity and promise. Their collaboration deepened as Ada translated and expanded an article on the analytical engine, adding her own extensive notes, 3 times longer than the original text. In her notes, Ada described how the analytical engine could manipulate not just numbers, but symbols, laying the groundwork for the concept of general-purpose computing. She even imagined the machine composing music, creating graphics, and advancing both science and art, ideas that were far ahead of her time. Ada's vision extended well beyond Babbage's original intentions. She foresaw a future where machines could process information in ways no one had yet dreamed. Their partnership was a true meeting of minds, Babbage's engineering genius and Ada's imagination and insight. Through their letters, shared experiments, and tireless work, Ada Lovelace became not just Babbage's collaborator, but the prophet of computing, her legacy echoing into the digital age. Ada's greatest achievement emerged in 1843, when she translated an article by Italian mathematician Luigi Menabrea on Charles Babbage's analytical engine. Her own notes, which were 3 times longer than the original article, not only clarified the machine's design, but also revealed its revolutionary potential. In her famous Note G, Ada devised a detailed, step-by-step process for calculating Bernoulli numbers. This was the world's first published computer algorithm, a set of instructions meant to be executed by a machine. Ada's algorithm was designed for the analytical engine, a mechanical computer that Babbage had envisioned but never completed. She worked closely with Babbage, asking probing questions and clarifying the engine's capabilities. Her algorithm included variables, loops, and conditional logic, concepts that are fundamental to programming today. She meticulously mapped out how the engine would process each step, anticipating the need for error checking and logical flow. Drawing inspiration from the Jacquard loom, which used punched cards to weave complex patterns, Ada saw programming as weaving algebraic patterns, with the engine following instructions just as a loom follows a design. Her notes were both technical and philosophical, exploring not just how the engine could compute, but what it could mean for humanity. She speculated that such machines might one day compose music or create art. Ada made a crucial distinction between machine and mind, arguing that the engine could only do what it was instructed. It had no creativity or understanding of its own. This insight remains central to computer science. Computers follow instructions, but the creativity and intent come from the programmer. Ada's work was a masterpiece of foresight, laying out principles that would not be realized until a century later. Her notes laid the foundation for modern programming, inspiring generations of computer scientists and mathematicians. Ada imagined a future where humans and machines would collaborate creatively, a vision that continues to shape the world of computing today. Despite her brilliance, Ada's work was forgotten for nearly a century. In the rigid society of 19th century England, women were rarely welcomed into scientific circles, no matter their talent or insight. Gender bias and strict social norms kept women out of science, and Ada's achievements were often dismissed or credited to Babbage. Scientific societies and journals were dominated by men, and women's voices were systematically excluded. Her notes were published under her initials, making her easier to overlook. This anonymity, common for women writers of the era, meant her groundbreaking ideas were often attributed to others or simply ignored. The analytical engine was never built, so her algorithm remained theoretical. Without a working machine, her vision of a programmable computer seemed like fantasy to her contemporaries. History remembered inventions, not ideas ahead of their time. The world celebrated tangible machines, not the abstract concepts that would shape the future. Ada's vision was too advanced for her era. She imagined a machine that could compose music, process symbols, and create art, ideas that seemed impossible in her time. Her legacy faded, buried by prejudice and circumstance. For decades, her name was lost in the shadows of history, her work hidden in archives and footnotes. For decades, she was a footnote in Babbage's story. Even as Babbage's reputation grew, Ada's role was minimized or forgotten. The world wasn't ready for her message, especially from a woman. The scientific establishment was not prepared to accept revolutionary ideas from someone outside their ranks. Her work was a seed waiting for the right moment to grow. It wasn't until the 1950s and 60s, as computer science emerged, that historians and scientists began to rediscover her notes. Ada's genius would have to wait for rediscovery. Today, she is celebrated as the world's first computer programmer, a visionary whose ideas finally found their place in history. Ada's work was rediscovered in the mid-20th century as computers became reality. Her visionary ideas, once overlooked, began to resonate with a new era of scientists and engineers. Alan Turing, a pioneer of computing, recognized the significance of her notes. He saw in Ada's writings the seeds of modern programming. In 1953, her writings were republished, astonishing a new generation of computer scientists. Researchers pored over her notes, amazed by her foresight. They found that Ada had already articulated the principles of programming and creative computing decades before the first computers were built. In 1980, the U.S. Department of Defense named a programming language, Ada, in her honor. This language became a cornerstone in critical systems, from aviation to space exploration. This cemented her place as the world's first computer programmer, and her name became synonymous with innovation and imagination. Today, Ada Lovelace is celebrated worldwide. Her story has inspired countless women and men to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Ada Lovelace Day honors women in STEM every October. Across the globe, events, workshops, and lectures highlight her achievements and encourage young people to follow in her footsteps. Many young programmers and scientists cite Ada as their inspiration, sharing stories of how learning about her life gave them the confidence to break barriers and innovate. Her story is now a symbol of female genius and scientific vision, sparking a resurgence of interest in her life and work. Documentaries, books, and online communities continue to explore her legacy, ensuring that Ada's contributions are never forgotten. Ada's rediscovery reminds us to seek out the forgotten voices that shape our world and to celebrate those who dare to imagine the future. Ada Lovelace's story is a beacon for anyone who dreams of changing the world. Her legacy continues to inspire generations, especially women and girls who see in her a reflection of their own potential. She proved that imagination and logic are partners in innovation. As Ada once wrote, "That brain of mine is something more than merely mortal, as time will show." Ada's persistence in the face of obstacles inspires us all. Despite societal barriers, she pursued her passion for mathematics, often working late into the night by candlelight. She challenged stereotypes and redefined what women could achieve. Today, countless women in STEM fields cite Ada as their inspiration. Dr. Sue Black, founder of TechMoms, says, "Ada Lovelace showed me that women have always been at the heart of technology. Her poetical science shows that creativity drives progress. Ada's unique blend of art and mathematics paved the way for interdisciplinary innovation. Ada's legacy urges us to recognize and uplift diverse voices in technology. Every year, Ada Lovelace Day celebrates women in STEM worldwide, sharing stories of pioneers who follow in her footsteps. She is a symbol of empowerment, proving women have always shaped innovation. In the words of computer scientist Dame Wendy Hall, Ada Lovelace is a role model for all of us who want to make a difference. Ada's vision, machines as partners in creativity, has become reality. Her insights laid the groundwork for modern computing, inspiring pioneers like Grace Hopper and Margaret Hamilton. Her story encourages us to believe in bold ideas and persevere. As one young coder shared at Ada Lovelace Day, "If Ada could imagine computers before they existed, I can imagine my own future in tech." Technology is about human potential, not just machines. Ada's life reminds us that innovation begins with curiosity and courage. As we build the future, Ada Lovelace remains our guide. Her name graces scholarships, coding clubs, and awards that encourage the next generation of innovators. The enchantress of numbers changed the world, and so can we. Ada's legacy lives on in every person who dares to dream, create, and lead.